Unpopular magazine, your TV Reader's Digest. Presented by the Studebaker Packard Corporation and its dealers. Studebaker, with its tradition of fine craftsmanship, and Packard, with its tradition of inspired engineering, now one, as Studebaker Packard leads the way with the bold new idea in automobiles of outstanding quality. And now your host.
Before Cadillac became the standard of American luxury, before Lincoln carried presidents, there was Packard. For over half a century, Packard represented the absolute peak of American automotive prestige. If you were powerful, wealthy, or influential in the early 20th century, you didn't just buy a car, you bought a Packard. Their slogan said it all. Ask the man who owns one. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't loud, it was confident. How did a company that once rivaled the very best in the world completely disappear by the late 1950s? This is the rise and fall of Packard. Packard was founded in 1899 in Warren, Ohio, by brothers James and William Packard. The origin story is almost poetic. James Packard purchased an early automobile from another manufacturer, disliked its quality, and reportedly told the builder he could make a better one himself. And so he did. From the very beginning, Packard's focus was precision engineering and durability. At a time when cars were unreliable, noise machines, Packard built vehicles that were smooth, powerful, and dependable. By 1903, the company moved to Detroit, positioning itself in what would soon become the heart of the American auto industry. Packard quickly earned a reputation for excellence. Wealthy buyers took notice. By the 1910s, the brand had become synonymous with refinement and engineering superiority. They weren't trying to build the most cars. They were trying to build the best. By the 1920s, Packard was one of America's premier luxury brands. Industrialists, Hollywood stars, and even U.S. presidents rode in Packards. The cars were often custom-bodied, hand-finished, and incredibly expensive. And then came the Great Depression. Most luxury brands collapsed, but Packard adapted. In 1935, they introduced the Packard 120, a more affordable model designed to attract upper-middle-class buyers. It was a massive success. Sales skyrocketed. The company survived the Depression while many competitors failed. But this move came with a long-term consequence. By moving down market, Packard blurred its identity. It was no longer exclusively a car for the elite. The prestige remained, but it was no longer untouchable. Short-term survival came at the cost of long-term brand clarity. During World War II, Packard stopped producing civilian cars and focused on building aircraft, engines, and military equipment. They became one of the largest producers of aircraft engines in the United States, contributing significantly to the Allied war effort. When the war ended in 1945, consumers demanded for cars exploded. But the auto industry had changed. The big three, General Motors, Ford Motor Company, and Chrysler, had massive production capacity, modernized factories, and enormous marketing budgets. Packard, still independent, didn't have that kind of scale. At first, post-war sales were strong simply because Americans would buy almost anything new. But once competition incentivized, Packard began falling behind in styling, innovation, speed, and production efficiency. The company that once led the industry now found itself reacting to it. By the early 1950s, warning signs were everywhere. Packard's designs were seen as conservative compared to the flashy tail fins and bold chrome styling coming out of Detroit. Quality control began to slip. Costs were rising. Sales were declining. In 1954, Packard merged with struggling automaker Studebaker in what was supposed to be a lifeline. Instead, it accelerated the collapse. Studebaker's financial situation was far worse than Packard realized. The combined companies faced enormous operating losses. Production inefficiencies multiplied. By 1956, the last true Packards rolled off the production line in Detroit. In 1958, the Packard name was discontinued entirely. After nearly 60 years, one of America's most prestigious automotive brands quietly vanished. Packard failed because it lacked engineering talent. It didn't fail because Americans stopped wanting luxury cars. It failed because it diluted its high-end identity. It couldn't compete with massive production giants. It lacked capital to modernize quickly. And its merge came too late to fix structural problems. The industry shifted towards scale, annual redesigns, aggressive marketing, and massive dealership networks. Packard was built for craftsmanship and prestige, not industrial warfare. In a new era of automotive competition, tradition wasn't enough. Today, Packard remains one of the most respected names in automotive history. Collectors treasure classic Packards, historians praise their engineering, and enthusiasts still repeat their underrated slogan, "Ask the man who owns one." It represents a time when reputation was built slowly and luxury meant refinement rather than flash. Packard went from presidential limousines to extinction in less than a decade. Not because it lacked prestige, not because it lacked quality, but because it couldn't adapt fast enough to an industry that no longer rewarded exclusivity over scale. It's a reminder that even the most respected brands can disappear, but sometimes even legends fade.